Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Sales Cloud session where we're talking about selling from anywhere with the Salesforce1 Sales Cloud. My name is Steve Diamond. I'm with the Sales Cloud product marketing team. Just a quick bit about me. I've spent the last 18 years living in the San Francisco Bay Area. How many people here from the Boston area? Raise your hands. That's good. How many people here have heard of Leominster? Yeah, everybody's hand should be up. I'm disgusted. I was born and raised in Leominster. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to spend the next 40 minutes talking about all things selling and where selling is going. And before I do that, we do need to share with you our safe harbor statement. We ask that you please make any and all purchase decisions based on currently available Salesforce.com features and functionality. You can go to our website for more information. So, here's Gartner. They are the leading industry analyst firm on the planet. And for 7 years running, they have basically declared Salesforce.com to be leading in Salesforce automation. Is that a credit to us? Is that a credit to our leadership team, our engineering and development team? Arguably. But I think the biggest credit goes to you, our customers and our prospects. You are the ones who infuse us with the best ideas for our products. You are the ones who inspire us as a large community. We've got a number of Salesforce MVPs located right here in the Boston area, and we are inspired by companies of all different types and all different sizes. Just a quick example of that. You just saw this really inspiring film from ADP. This is a 60-year-old company. And to see where they are taking selling in the field with mobile solutions that they're building on the Salesforce1 customer platform is inspiring. Now, I'm going to skip over the Trunk Club and talk about another company that's been around for decades, an industrial manufacturing leader, Honeywell. And there's a $7 billion division of Honeywell. It's called their Special Materials Corporation. And they are using collaboration in Salesforce.com and the Sales Cloud to literally protect millions of dollars in profit. And their sales leader has proclaimed that he wants their entire sales team on mobile devices only in the next 1.5 to 2 years. And then there's the Trunk Club. And they are literally disrupting the upper end of men's fashion. Now, I remember before I moved out of Boston, there used to be a bookstore a couple of blocks from here called Waterstones. But Waterstones is long gone. They were disrupted. Amazon has been a major disruptor. And this is happening now in the world of men's fashions. Trunk Club has no stores. They have stylists. They all operate out of one central location in Chicago. And they use Salesforce.com to maintain very close connections with their customers, including me. Sorry about the shameless shill, but that's a Trunk Club shirt. Okay, so where is this all going? Where is the future of sales going? Well, we envision a world in which companies will do all their selling from a mobile device. We envision a world in which you will be able to engage with the best leads the moment they're interested at the earliest stages of the buying process. We envision a world in which companies will know as much about their prospects as their best customers. And we envision a world in which the gap between a sales team's best performers and their worst performers will be incredibly narrow, where everybody will be performing at a very high level and achieving consistent, sustainable, predictable results. And that's why we're excited about what we've been talking to you about this event today. We're so passionate about the Salesforce1 customer platform. And you've heard in earlier breakout sessions in this room today about its strength as a foundational platform, about its strength in the services area, and now we're here to talk to you about how it can transform your sales operations, how you can connect all of your applications, as well as AppExchange applications. You can use this solution and your solutions on our platform on any device, and regardless of where your data resides, you can connect to it and access it. So we're going to spend the rest of the time this afternoon focused on 4 themes, if you will. The theme of selling faster on the outside, field salespeople engaging on the outside with their customers and prospects. And as I mentioned before, connecting with customers and prospects at the earliest stages of a deal process. We're going to talk about inside sales and inside selling, and then we're going to talk about equipping sales managers with the solutions they need to sell with more certainty. So it all starts right now as talking about the application that is the foundation that this platform is built upon. It's the Salesforce1 mobile app. You've seen it demonstrated in multiple sessions today. And what we want to do is focus on its use in a sales use case. The ability to take the standard sales objects that come with Salesforce.com, Add your customizations to it. Add your custom applications to it. Add the third-party App Exchange applications you see as represented by all those logos in the middle of the screen, and combine that on one platform on any mobile device. It's really compelling, and it's really powerful. Now, something that we and our customers are really excited about is also the ability to equip field sales teams with one-click access to initiate their own business processes, either global business processes that transcend the Salesforce solution, or contextual business processes custom to a process like opportunities. That's what we're talking about with Publisher Actions. Well, now I'd like to invite my friend Sean Albert on the stage here, and he, along with Jamie Domenici, are going to demonstrate Salesforce1 in action.
Thanks very much, Steve. In order to bring the power of the Salesforce1 customer platform to life, we're going to show you a demonstration from the perspective of Steve Malone. Steve is a field sales rep for a company called BestTech. BestTech is a leading software and hardware solutions company. So let's go over to the demo. This is Steve's smartphone. When he opens up Salesforce1, the first thing that he sees is his chatter feed. This is the way that Steve consumes information, the way he connects with his sales team, with his customer, with his top deals. But this is much more than a feed. This is a true customer platform. If we go to the upper left-hand side, hit on the menu, you'll see the global search. This is where Steve can access all of his documents, his PDFs, his contracts. Right below that, we see all of the standard Salesforce1 applications, today, tasks, opportunities. This is the way that Steve is going to manage and organize his day. And right below that, we can see all of Steve's CRM, his opportunities, his accounts, his leads. But it's not just sales. He also is able to see his servants. He's got cases. He also has custom objects, like call plans. Everything that BestTech has done to Salesforce has now been brought into this customer platform. Now, if he scrolls down a little bit more, he can see third-party applications. For example, DocuSign. This is an application that is extremely important to salespeople, be able to capture signatures and be able to close business. Now, you can also go to the private app store that BestTech has set up. This is a place where he can go and see a multitude of sales applications that can help extend his selling capabilities and to sell more. Now, for someone like Steve, it's really important to be able to manage and organize your day. And the best way to do that is with the Today application. So let's go to Today. When he goes there, he can see his whole set of appointments. He's got a pretty busy day. Now, what Today is doing is it's bringing in his calendar on his smartphone, and it's merging it with all that great Salesforce data, so it's all in one place. So let's take a look at that first meeting, customer meeting with a company called Green Video. When he taps in, he can see all the key invitees to this meeting, including someone named Jean Anders. Let's take a look at Jean. Here we can see all of her contact information, including her Twitter profile picture. This is a great way for him to make an instant personal connection when he meets her. Now, when he swipes to the right, he can see all the related information, cases, open activities, and most importantly, the open deals that he has with her. Let's take a look at the deals. There's a top one for $70K. Let's tap into that. Now he can see a filtered feed of all of the key updates to this opportunity. He's also able to collaborate with his extended sales team. Now he can see that one of the people on the proposals team, a gentleman named Chris, has just updated his proposal with some new pricing. Steve can tap into that document, check the pricing, make sure it's good for this next meeting that's coming up. So let's fast forward a little bit. He's now in the meeting with Green Video. He's been having a great talk with Jean. She likes what she's heard about the proposal, but she wants to take a little bit more. She wants to review it with her team. Any business process is nothing but a tap away. So he's going to tap on the publisher, choose DocuSign, and then choose the agreement, share it with Jean, and make sure she can sign it. This is a way of enabling herself to close the business. It's a great way to be able to connect the buyer and close business faster. Now, Steve is a great salesperson. He knows that the business doesn't stop right when the agreement is signed. Now, Jean has showed some interest in a new server that BestTech has come out with. She's not ready to buy just yet, though. Fortunately, BestTech is using Pardot. It's Salesforce's B2B marketing automation software, And just with a tap of the publisher, he's going to be able to add her to a marketing drip campaign. He's going to be able to build awareness of this new product and help create pipeline faster. So now he's done with that meeting. He's headed back to his car for the next meeting. It's an internal sales call. Now, Salesforce1 makes it really, really easy to dial in. Now, in the old days, Steve would have to remember a huge conference call number. He would have to type in a passcode and then type it in again because inevitably he did it wrong the first time. A lot of shaking heads here. Salesforce1, all you have to do is click on the phone button in the middle of the screen. It knows all of the information in one place, passcode and all. It takes an unnecessarily difficult process and makes it really easy. So now Steve's done with his call, and he notices in the top right-hand corner, he has a notification. He sees that he's got something from Best Tech telling him that one of his customers, Revolution Groceries, has a battery in a security system that's running low. Wow. This is a great example of a connected product. This is telling Steve that his customer has a problem that he needs to fix. It's pushing information to him. So this is not just a system that allows Steve to be able to seek information, but it's actively, proactively pushing information to him. So now that Steve has seen it, he has a little bit of downtime. And we all know that salespeople aren't selling all the time. They've got a little bit of downtime. And downtime, we want to be productive time. And that's why it's important for him to have all of his tasks in one place. And if we go into the tasks, Steve can see that he has a whole list of tasks. Now, one of them is listed as very urgent. He's got a call with Richard from Revolution Groceries. And it seems that he's got a call for some add-on business. Now, when he taps on his contact there, Richard Ball, he's going to see all of that contact information, and he's going to give Richard a call. So he taps on the phone. And when he calls Richard, he's going to discuss two things. He's going to say, first, hey, Richard, I want to make sure I understand how many servers that you really need for your order. And second of all, hey, I just learned that one of your servers has a problem. It's got a low battery. Can I help you out with that? Now, Richard is ecstatic. He's helping him out with a problem that he didn't even know he had. Steve has created trust, and he has deepened his relationship with Richard. Now, you'll notice that when he hangs up the phone, Salesforce1 is automatically prompting him to enter in what happened on the call. Now, in the old days, Steve would have to lug around some paper with him, write down his notes, and then at night, walk back home, fire up his laptop, and log all the information. No longer. Salesforce1 automatically prompts him during the day to enter in his notes. Steve is more productive, and he gets his nights and evenings back. Now, Steve is not just selling, he's also servicing. Now, any process, including a customer service process, is no more than a tap away. Steve taps on the publisher, he creates a support request, and he's telling his team back at home, look, Revolution Groceries has this low battery. Please go ahead and take care of them. Now, what's this? We see that there's another notification coming in. This is a great example of a third-party application, in this case, DocuSign, letting him know about an alert. And it looks like, yes, Gene Anders has signed that deal. Awesome. So Steve is going to go into the opportunity right on his smartphone and update the stage. He's going to update it to closed and won. That way, he's going to get the recognition that he deserves back in the office on the leaderboard, and he's going to be able to tell the people who are processing the orders, go ahead and start processing that order. Now, if you're in sales, what's the best thing other than closing a deal? Well, of course, it's getting paid on that deal. So thanks to the Exactly incentive compensation management solution that's built right into Salesforce1, Steve can see how much he got paid on that deal. He can see how much closer he is to meeting his quota and how much closer to that great club trip to Hawaii. So this is how you empower your sales reps to sell, service, and close business from anywhere. And it's only possible with the Salesforce1 customer platform. Back to you, Steve.
Great job, Sean. Thank you so much. Great job, Jamie. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get right back into it. We're now going to talk about selling connected one-to-one. Why is this important? Why is it important to engage and really focus on the solutions to help you engage as early as possible with your customers and prospects? Well, that's because the world is changing. And according to the Corporate Executive Board, customers contact sales reps when they've completed 60% of the purchase decision process. Now, think about us as business purchasing influencers. Think about us as consumers. We're more often than not making decisions based on information we gather online, collaborating with each other on social networks, collaborating with professional colleagues. This potentially upends companies like yours and ours unless we have a solution that helps us get in earlier, to see the online patterns, the online interactions between a company and its customers as prospects as early as possible in the buying process. That's where the Salesforce Pardot automated B2B marketing automation solution that in part you just saw Sean demonstrate comes into play. Very powerful solution for engaging earlier and more meaningfully and building a stronger pipeline of leads. But sales transcends the four walls of your company, particularly if you're in the technology and in the financial services industries, both of which are so prominent in the Boston area. I don't want to out people that are just sitting in this room, but I saw a couple of analog devices badges here in the room. So whether you're with analog devices or whether you're with EMC, inside selling is critical, but so is extending into communities and selling through partners. So this is what we're talking about here. It's the ability not just to collaborate on business processes, but it's the ability to collaborate around goals, objectives, and activities. This is the power of Salesforce partner communities. And then we talk about inside selling. So if you ever have read Mark Benioff's book on the foundations of Salesforce.com, he talks about how inside sales was such an important part of the founding of Salesforce.com. And again, we're seeing this so predominantly in multiple industries. I know that many of us, we interact with companies, we make major purchase decisions, we make major investment decisions, and we do that without engaging face-to-face with human beings. And these inside salespeople have very different lives, the way they operate. They're in high-volume organizations. They need to make hundreds of calls per day, and it's very intensive. So the opportunity is to provide these individuals with as much information as possible from Salesforce.com, from third-party App Exchange applications, from their own applications, performance metrics, everything on one screen, because shaving seconds off the time it takes these people to interact with the information they need to serve customers really makes a difference. That's the design principle at heart when we talk about the Salesforce console for sales. And then finally, there's equipping sales managers with the tools that they need. Now, why is this critical? Because the CEOs of today are very different from the CEOs of 10, 20, 30 years ago. They're very analytical. They have to be. The Wall Street pressure, the board of directors pressure is much more intensive than it used to be. So in turn, they're putting more positive pressure on their heads of sales. They're saying, you need to know more. You need to do more than just give me an accurate forecast. You need to really be able to analyze the underpinnings of your business. So earlier in this session, I really talked about how our customers provide us with our best ideas. And we're really excited about this recent innovation in Salesforce.com and the Sales Cloud. And it really was a customer-infused idea. And it's all about deal trending. It's all about being able to look at a large grouping of deals and being able to see anomalies in those deals. Which deals are larger than we previously anticipated? Which deals are smaller? Which deals are closing earlier than expected? Which deals are pushing out? And then from there, being able to see patterns. Are deals that are pushing out and that are smaller related to specific individuals and individual teams, individual products? How can we act upon that more meaningfully and more effective? That's at the heart of deal trending. And then we've really invested a lot in our opportunity object as well over the last several releases, introducing team selling and then the ability to split opportunities based on the contribution that individual team members as well as overlay members and partners are bringing into sales deals. And now we can reflect that in collaborative forecasting in Sales Cloud. We can also see product and unit sales of products in forecasts as well. And people looking at forecasts in Salesforce can easily toggle between multiple forecast views. And then finally, something we touched upon earlier, the ability to analyze sales performance and do it natively, 100% in the Sales Cloud. And the power of this with Work.com, the power of aligning on goals, the power of delivering coaching, the power of delivering recognition when it's native in a platform is that you can align those quantitative goal metrics to the actual performance information in Salesforce.com. And you can also access that on any mobile device. So I just talked at a whirlwind speed that I think only true Bostonians would be able to comprehend because we move fast. So I know you got all this. But guess what? we're innovating and we're moving faster than ever. It is Salesforce automation that Salesforce.com was built upon. As you've seen today, we are far more than that today. We've truly evolved and grown. And the bottom line is we will always stay focused and committed to our roots. We are innovating faster and faster in the Sales Cloud. And in order to exemplify a lot of what I've just discussed, let's bring Sean Alpert back on stage with Jamie Dominici to give you another great demonstration.
Thanks very much, Steve. So I'm really excited to tell you today how sales managers using the Sales Cloud can sell with certainty. And now, thanks to Salesforce1, they can do it from anywhere. So let's go to the demo. Right now, we're looking at the Sales Cloud through the eyes of Valerie Jones. Valerie is a sales manager at Best Tech. So right now, she's looking through her chatter feed. This is a way that she connects with her sales team, with her customers, with everything that's important getting pushed right to her. So let's take a look what she sees. She can see that one of her reps, Jack Thompson, has just identified a new competitor in one of her deals with General Utilities. Now, there's also some good news here. One of the reports that she's been following, quota attainment by rep, has also been pushed to her. And that's because one of her other reps, Casey Lee, has just exceeded her quota. So everything in the feed is interactive. So Valerie is able to drill into reports to see more, or she's able to add this report to her dashboard. So taking a look at her dashboard, this is her go-to place to see all the information that's important to her to be able to run her business and to find trends. So she can see her leaderboard of sales reps, and now, thanks to deal trending, she can also see this new push and pull waterfall report. She can see which deals have been pushed to the following month and which deals have been pulled in to the current month. Now, by drilling into that report, she can analyze this data a little bit closer. Now, by taking a look at this data, she knows a little bit better how her month is actually shaping up. So it seems like she has 3 deals that are being pushed out of this month. Those are the ones in red. They're all owned by one rep, Chris Johnson. Now, there are a couple deals that are being pulled in this month by her rep, Jack Thompson. So by analyzing this information, she can get a much better idea of what's going on, and she knows that Jack is going to have a great month. So using this information is critical for her because someone who's trying to run her business and set expectations, she needs to be able to forecast with accuracy. So now we're looking at Valerie's forecast. And let's take a look at one thing in particular, and that's Jack Thompson's commit. These are all the deals that Jack thinks that are going to close this year. So let's take this month, rather. So she's going to take a look at that first one. It's a General Utilities deal for $210K. Now, it looks like Jack is only slated to get $157K of that. That's 75% of the deal. Well, that's because Best Tech is using opportunity splits. Opportunity splits are a great way for multiple salespeople to be able to sell different products under the same deal. Best Tech is able to then account and forecast for those deals in the correct manner. Now, let's see how Valerie uses the information she gleaned from the from the deal trending to be able to update her forecast. So hopefully you'll come back. Great. Real-time demos, everyone. So she's going to go back to her commit for Jack, and she knows that he's bringing in a couple demos now. And she also has a really good feeling about that General Utilities deal. So she's going to up his forecast by $50K. Now, on the same token, she's going to go to Chris, remember the one that was having trouble? And she is going to dial down his forecast for the month. By being able to do this in real time, manually, Valerie can give everyone up and down the management chain a much more accurate picture of what's actually going to close. Now, for a company like Best Tech, and really for any company that's trying to be more progressive and lead a real sales revolution, it's not enough to just manage by numbers. You also have to coach your people. And that's exactly what Valerie is going to do using Work.com right in Salesforce. So now she's looking at all of her coaching relationships. She's going to focus on the one with Jack. So when she drills in, she's going to see a great example of being able to coach tied to metrics. So you'll notice that up here, you can see she's able to coach to achieving quota, achieving more sales deals closing. And that's because Work.com is 100% native in Salesforce. You can coach to any quantitative metric. Now, you can also coach to any qualitative metric as well, or more soft skills. Now, you'll remember that our friend Jack, at the very beginning, identified a new competitor coming into the deal. Now, this is not the first time that this happened. Valerie wants to make sure he's aware of this and encourage him to bring in the competitive team earlier so that this doesn't happen. So she can post a coaching note right there in his feed. She can give him feedback anytime, anywhere. Now, Valerie, as a sales manager, she's not sitting behind a desk all day. She's out there in the field. She's talking to customer. She's closing deals. And so she needs to be able to sell with certainty from anywhere. And now she can, thanks to Salesforce1. Let's switch over to Valerie's smartphone. So Valerie is in the back of a taxi. She is on her way to the airport. She's about to catch her flight. And she wants to get some work done. So when she opens up Salesforce1, she should be able to see that coaching note that she just gave to Jack. As well, she will be able to see that it looks like Jack has been able to close this deal with General Utilities, which is great. That means that he's actually exceeded his quota. And Work.com will automatically recognize him and give him a badge. Thank him for doing this great work. Now, it's this automatic triggering that is native in Work.com and Salesforce1. So Valerie sees that this deal has come in a little earlier than expected, and she wants to be able to update his forecast one more time. So again, she's in the back of a taxi, but it doesn't matter. She can go to her publisher, she can tap on it, and she's able to update his forecast. She goes to his commit, types in another 20K, and then submits it. This is a way, even when she's on the road, to be able to keep everyone in the business updated, and she's doing it with the utmost of certainty. So this is a great example of how sales reps, sales managers like Valerie are able to sell with certainty, and they can do it from anywhere. And that's with Salesforce1. Thank you, and back to you, Steve.
Thank you so much, Sean. Again, thank you, Jamie. Great demonstration. Okay. I'd like to talk to you about a company that's based right here in the greater Boston, Smithfield, Rhode Island area. Well, that's a known metro area, isn't it? So how many people here are familiar with Fidelity Investments? All of us, right? I mean, they're a major global brand. They serve us as consumers. Well, Pyramus is the institutional arm of Fidelity Investments. So they work with corporations, government, municipalities, federal branches of government, state branches of government. They work with unions. They manage their assets. They manage their pension funds. And they are also a great example of a Sales Cloud and a Salesforce.com customer. And I'd like to bring on stage John Almeida. And John Almeida is the Director of CRM and the Director of Business Analysis.
Hey, Steve.
Thank you so much for joining us. Come on, we're all energetic. It's okay. There we go. That's a Boston spirit. So I'd love to ask you just a few questions, John. First of all, what brought Salesforce.com and Pyramus together? Where did you come from a Salesforce automation CRM standpoint?
So we came from a legacy system about 7 years ago that most folks probably in this room had not heard of, called Avenue. Mm-hmm. It was a DOS-based system. It was end of life, and we needed to get off. So we were looking for the next generation of CRM, but not just CRM. We were thinking long-term and saying we also need a platform, the ability to run more than just contacts and opportunities, but to run a lot of elements of our business on a platform. So Salesforce offered us that. We also wanted ease of use, ease of administration, and fast time to market on our deployments. And we didn't want to deal with infrastructure. So that seemed like a natural fit for us. We also looked at some of your competitors, dare I say, Siebel, and it was an on-premise offering, and we didn't want to go with that. We wanted a cloud offering. And we also looked at another offering, Siebel On Demand, which seemed like it was light years behind you guys. So Salesforce was a natural fit for us.
Great. And so how are you and your teams using Salesforce.com and the Sales Cloud now, and what benefits have you gained to date?
So our main goal is to drive collaboration and efficiency. We want to make our folks that much more collaborative, and we've done so via Chatter. And I know you're thinking, we're a financial services company, how did you pull that off? We did. So if we can do it in our heavily regulated industry, then anyone can do it. And you can use Chatter in a number of different ways, but we've used it as almost a de facto workflow tool. We've been able to connect teams that were previously siloed and collaborate with one another via Chatter. We've instituted publisher actions that have enabled us to do that. And we've also made the data talk to the users, in the sense that we've customized Chatter to make users a passive consumer of this data. So no longer do they have to go and look at reports, although they can still do that. The data now passively communicates with users, data that's important to them. Big deals, accounts being at risk, and things of that nature. So it's been a home run for us.
That's really interesting. Now, we spoke on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and you mentioned that some of your most seasoned sales teams are out on the go, and they need mobile capabilities. So can you talk to us about your journey to Salesforce1 and how they're using mobile devices?
It was a great journey, because we struggled for a long time with a mobile strategy. And our sales reps are the most senior in the company. They're on the go a lot. And they're dealing with chief investment officers. They're dealing with investment directors. They need that information at the palm of their hands when they're dealing with these folks. And we struggled with that. We struggled until we went to Dreamforce in November, and you guys unveiled Salesforce1. So it made our jobs a lot easier. We came back and we deployed it immediately out of the box. We didn't want to overthink it. We didn't want to over-engineer it. We wanted to get them the data in their hands while on the go that they're used to seeing in the web version. So now they have all the data that's important to them, and they can even enter in opportunities and call reports right on the fly, right on the go, which is hugely important for them. And we taught them how to do so as well via dictation. So a lot of these iPhones and Samsung Galaxies, you can talk right into it, and that was a huge benefit for us. It made it, believe it or not, fun to log a call report, which most don't like to do anyway. But it was very, very effective for us, the Salesforce1 deployment.
That's really neat. And as a seasoned Salesforce.com deployer, it sounds like you and Pyramus have learned some great lessons along the way that have to deal with basic change management. Can you talk about that a little bit with us?
Yeah, we deal with change management. We take a look at that a lot, in the sense that we don't want to underestimate behavior change. We know that when we're deploying new things like Salesforce1, that we can't take for granted that it's going to be easy. So we spend a lot of time meeting with users, piloting. We put together simple training documents. We do group training sessions. We then sit with folks after the fact and get their feedback and do one-on-one sessions. So you could call it a drip campaign, if you will. But we spend a lot of time ensuring that we get the most user adoption out of everything we deploy. So in addition, it's very important for us to get senior management buy-in as well. I dragged up today our Chief Operating Officer from Fidelity up here. Why? Because it's important to have senior management buy-in as well, and ensure that they buy into it, and then it makes our lives a lot easier to deploy it to the folks out on the field.
Well, that's great. I love the notion of drip feeding your users, and to your Chief Operating Officer, I'm a customer. I'm a customer. So final question, what's next? What's next for Pyramus with Salesforce.com?
So what's next for us is, so you guys have talked a lot today about the investments you made in the Marketing Cloud, the Exact Target Marketing Cloud, Pardot, and we have an awful lot of interest in that as well. So we had a demo recently of that for the entire Fidelity organization that I chaired, and it was very interesting, drew up a lot of interest, and we want to learn more about that. We want to potentially trailblaze a little bit and follow our partners on the retail side and be more social, potentially, if we can, with our customers, which I think is a little bit lacking in our industry.
This is great. What a great story. What a great use case. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it, John. Okay, so we have packed a lot into 40 minutes. We hope you enjoyed this session where we've talked about the Salesforce1 customer platform as it applies to selling, as it applies to sales. We are going to be, a few of us, outside this room, a little bit of an informal meetup to answer your questions right after this session. I want to thank you so much for giving us your time and attention this afternoon. Thanks again.